you know this book, The Richest Man in Babylon? But before I tell you why I want to tell you about this book, check this out. Finally, the sun is out here in Australia, Queensland, Gold Coast, where I live, and it's nice to come down to the beach and have a little break. I've got my little puppy Johnny with me, who is digging through to the other side of the world at the moment. Have you heard of this book? And off the back of just going through an election that we've gone through, I thought I might share some things with you around what we could do as a community to help build a wealthy nation again in people, and possibly even step up to take our own power in the nicest sense of the word, as opposed to hoping, for some people that I speak to, not everyone, that the government will save them. Because I had a look, and why am I telling you about this book, The Richest Man in Babylon? Because if you haven't read this book, I would highly recommend, if you're interested in building financial independence, prosperity, happiness, wealth, let's face it, we still got to have this thing on this planet called money. My dog is trying to go for the ball at the moment. And this book was written, I think it was back in the 1930s actually. He was actually a financial planner that wrote this book, and he talked about this city of Babylon, and there was a wealthy man named Akid, and he was the wealthiest man in Babylon. And one of the local community members was wondering why, after all the years of hard work and labor, he had still not accumulated any form of wealth. So they get the king of Babylon to go and speak to Akid to share his philosophy around how to build a wealthy, successful life. And we had an election last week, and I was looking at all the different policies, and I really take my hat off to politicians, because regardless of what we may think about them, it's a big job, and for whatever reason they're there. I know we give them a hard time, but sure, there's probably a handful of them that might have a different intention for being there, a different agenda. But I believe most people that go into government are there because they do want to do well for the community, whether you're Liberal or Labor or in the middle or Greens. They're people that are stepping up and they're wanting to make a difference. And we live in Australia, and I'm Australian, half Australian actually. My mother's European, but Johnny's Australian. And they want to help improve the nation and the world. And where am I going with this story? I'll get to the point. If I said to you, see that car, get in it and drive it, and you've never been trained how to drive it, you have no idea what to do, yet you're told to jump in and drive that vehicle, what do you think would happen? Well, there'd be accidents, right? There'd be people getting hurt, there'd be stress, there'd be confusion. And I think this is what goes on. And I'm not here to preach about being a politician and making anyone bad or wrong, just a sharing on how we as a government and as a people in the community can work together to build Australia into what I would like to see the most successful, wealthiest nation in the world. Look how wealthy we are already in so many ways. But this is what I see happening, and this is where I think Akid in The Richest Man in Babylon could help us. Most policy I see is focusing on the symptoms. We never taught them how to drive a car. They have no idea how to drive a car. They have accidents every day of the week, and we'll try and keep curing them and bailing them out from when they have car accidents. So what do I mean by that? If you train someone to drive a car, follow the road rules, do the right thing, there'll be less accidents. People will get to where they want to go because they were trained and know how to drive the car. I believe it's the same with money and work and living a happier, healthier life. We need to be trained. And I know our education system's working hard to help people get ahead, but I do believe that there is such a wonderful opportunity for government, state, federal, local, and us, the people, to work together to help build the education that's going to make a difference in this country and the world. Because if you don't teach someone how to budget money, how to build wealth, how to save, how to take care of your family financially, how to manage debt and income, and how to build wealth for yourself and not have to rely on the government, it's going to be a much richer nation. But we've got a big gap in this area still. So I'm going to do this 7-series sequence on the richest man in Babylon to share his 7 cures to having more gold, as they write about it. And the first cure in this book is start thy purse to fattening. And what is that kid talking about here? He's talking about the importance of saving money and also learning how to budget money. Yes, I know, yawn material, but the thing I'm learning more and more in life, those fundamental simple things that we may not necessarily like doing, is where the prosperity and the freedom lives. And I'll do a video, if you'd like to know, on a really simple process for how you can learn to take charge of your money and budget well, and it'd be a fairly simple process. It's literally 2 accounts and 3 tracking sheets, which I'll show you another time. But let's just talk really quickly for today's lesson. If you'd like to know a bit more about how to build wealth and prosperity, the first one is start thy purse to fattening. And by this, whatever you earn, take 10%, not super, another 10%, and put it in a separate account for wealth building. Not for a holiday, not for going out. This is your, what I call sleep money, or once upon a time I called it the FU money, which is if you wanted to say to someone, I'm out of here, and you've got $50,000 sitting in an account, you're going to feel a lot more confident about leaving, right? So putting away 10%. Now, how do you put away 10%? Because you might be thinking, my God, Trevor, we're already spending more than we make and we've got all these debts. Well, that's the next thing. The next thing is, as part of this learning, is we've got to sit down and figure out what it is that we're making, what it is that we're spending, or what it is that we're not making, and what it is that we're spending, and what do we want to make, and how can we? Now, that may seem a little bit overwhelming in itself, but this is the other thing that I've learnt and I have attempted to follow as best as I can throughout my life, and I fall off the tracks. I just did an investment recently which I thought was an outstanding investment, and I put some substantial money into it, and look, it may come back, but that's the other thing in the laws here about choosing the right people to invest with, but I'll talk to you about that in another video. Anyway, so all I'm saying is I'm working to apply these rules. I'm working with my clients and friends and family to apply these rules. But if you could take just this from this short video today, sit down, as hard as it is, even if you've got to chip away at it, if you want to build a better life, more prosperous, have money in the bank, know where the money is, sit down, write down what it is that you're spending, what it is that you're making, and start setting a goal to put away 10% every time you make money, 10% into another account, 10% into another account, and start working to reduce your expenses and figuring out how to increase your income. Now, whatever that income is for you, whatever expenses that is for you, I know some people that are happy to make $1,000 a month, $1,000 a week. Some people are not happy unless making $100,000 a week or a month or a day. Whatever it is to you, that's all that matters. But I will leave you with this point, if this is of interest to you. The hardest part is starting and making the decision. The hardest part is starting and saying, if we are feeling like we're overwhelmed and in a mess, let's first look at, why are we in a mess? Are we overspending? Why are we overspending? And where are we spending? And let's start getting a goal to figure out how to increase our income, reduce our expenses. And yes, I know you've got kids, you've got cars, you've got loans, but if we really looked at something, and let me say this, as someone said to me recently, if you're in trouble financially, and someone said to you, you've got to go and clear $10,000 in debt or increase your income by $10,000 a month, or we were going to take away your child or your mother, you've got 1 year to do it, would you be motivated to do it? I said I would be. Maybe your motivation's different. Maybe it's it's a bit of a negative motivation, but you get the point. When we really need to do something, we invariably will find a way, but we've got to have a reason why. So that is the intro for me today on The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. $2 online, or get it on Audible, listen to it. The first cure to building gold and wealth is start by purse to fattening, knowing where our money's going and saving it, and just start slowly. And the next one, if you'd like to know, which we'll discuss in the next video, is controlling thy expenses. Yes, so riveting, right? Which I'll share a story with you about how I was doing well here, went off track, got back on track, and applying some things that I was doing a long time ago to get my own wealth growing again because of a few things that occurred. But I'll share that story with you in the next video. Thank you for watching. My name's Trevor Russell. I'm the CEO and head of the Results Investment Group. That's my dog, Johnny. We're here at the beach. If I can help you with putting your budget together, help my team and I to help you borrow money for debt consolidation, home investment, business, we are here to help people get a result. We're not here to put people in debt. We're here to help people get a result from the money that they're borrowing and to make it an investment and turn their goals and dreams into reality. So I hope that doesn't sound too salesy, but I really love what I do, and I love helping people come out of the fog and see the clarity, even if it's a bit scary. But the first step to change, I found, for all of us, it's the decision to decide to take a look at where we want to go and what we've got to do to get there. So thank you for watching, Trevor Russell, and remember, you're more amazing than you probably realize that you are. You can do more than you currently are. We are abundant, wonderful, amazing human beings, and I look forward to sharing with you more tips from this book and some other great stuff I've got coming up to help us build wealth. And thanks to our politicians for trying to do a good job and run our country. I couldn't imagine how challenging that job would be. But if any of you are watching this, all I would suggest is look at how we could improve our education for people to understand how to manage money, attract money, become more worthwhile, become more valuable, to become smarter investors, to take care of themselves financially and not just constantly be trying to put out fires with more funding that is just going to exacerbate the same problem. Let's get some cures going. I know it's a bit of a journey, but any journey starts with a step. And I think Australia as a country is wonderful, and I think it would be wonderful for us to step up and start educating ourselves as the community and our leaders, putting them in a courageous place to say, yes, we are now ready to start tweaking our education system, start educating people on what to do and not to do with money. Because I'll close on this note that I've learned. It's not how much we make, it's what we do with it and decide to do with it and who we want to become that matters the most. Thank you, Trevor Russell. Thank you so much for your precious time, and I hope to speak to you. And if nothing else, I hope you found this helpful. Great book, highly recommend it. The 7 Cures to a Fattening Purse and Building Wealth. Really fun read. I'll speak to you on the next video. Shoot me an email, send me a comment. Look forward to chatting. Let's make Australia amazing and even more wealthier than it is. Ciao for now.